You're listening to Level Up Weekly on Radio Harbor Country. Tune in live on the air at WRHC 106.7 and WRHZ 93.5 FM or on the web at www.radioharborcountry.org. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the world of Level Up Weekly, a bounteous, open podcast filled with amazing loot, legitimately challenging enemies, but not too difficult to defeat, and of course, the EXP. Join our fellow big headphone adventurers, Dylan the Dude and Sphyrnidae, as they journey on a quest to find the EXP from gaming news and discussion. Hello everybody, welcome to Level Up Weekly, your weekly XP for gaming news, and it's another beautiful Thursday evening. We are so glad that you can join us out here. My name is Jordan, aka Sphyrnidae, and I'm joined alongside here with my buddy Dylan. Dylan the Dude. What's going on today, buddy?
Can't complain. School is going great for me here down at Ball State University, as I assume it is for you up there at Davenport in Grand Rapids.
Yes.
And
Yes,
just get our little plugs out for our soon-to-be alma maters when we graduate. And it's another great, exciting week of interesting video game news. And we're coming out of one of the biggest events of the year here. Not E3, but kind of close if you're a fan of those sort of games.
Our life of covering E3 has made us like fanboys of E3, it seems like. Especially, obviously the radio really only knows us for the last one that we covered. But like, let's be real. We've covered we've covered two E3s, and we're big fanboys of them. But guess what? BlizzCon happened. We have our opinions on that. PUBG is covering underneath some new rumors of their new map coming out, of the desert dreary that it is. And we're also going to be talking about some other things among it too. One of them being about... Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing, Dylan. I have the wrong notes up for me. I was like, wait a minute.
And yet you still got the BlizzCon right.
Of course I'm going to get the BlizzCon right, because BlizzCon's an important thing to me, okay? Gosh, man, I should open up the right episode from now on. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, what I meant to say was we've got BlizzCon to cover, we've got Disney, and we learned about a neural network that decided that Super Mario Kart was just going to be its new favorite game. And it's probably better than me at it. Let's just be real.
I wonder how it does on Rainbow Road, but we'll get to that later.
Exactly. It's going to be a fun one, though. But as always, we like to start out this episode with a little bit of a quick plug here. First of all, if you would like to keep the show rolling for us here, giving us some support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Level Up Weekly. Supporters there are going to start getting exclusive podcast content going over there starting this week. Hopefully to get that out for you guys Friday would be this week. We're going to have a fun little thing to put on there. It's like an exclusive episode we're going to have on there. If you are longtime fans of us, it's our dungeon grind, but we call it our dungeon quest, where we're going to pretty much sit back, Dylan and I, we're going to talk about some things, really just kind of like wind down from the show and just kind of cover things that, we didn't really touch on before, and maybe give some personal opinions, and eventually start talking with some of our Patreon audience as time develops. It's going to be an exciting one for sure.
It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be huge. Sorry, I'm not going to go that way.
We don't talk about politics. Why did I turn that into a British accent? I went from Trump to a British man in the matter of a sentence. All right, cool. This is why I'm not a voice actor, guys. This is why, right here.
This might be a little bit of an important way to get into our topic today, but before that, usually we start these shows with, hey, what have we been playing lately? What have we been doing lately? And I think you and I have both been kind of getting more involved in the same game, or being more... como se dice, interested in the same game, in which in this case is Overwatch. The current ranked season is the current competitive season is happening at the moment, where you and I both did some placement games together.
I'm doing really, really well this season, by the way.
By the way, what is your current rank now, if I may ask?
Am I allowed to say that on the radio? I think it's too low of a number. I think every hardcore gamer is gonna be like, "Ha, you noob." I'll be like, "Shut up! I'm the top 1% in Rocket League. Shut up."
Hey, I ran into someone the other day who was proud of being 2000 in Overwatch, like exact 2000. Like they were like, "Oh man, I just hit gold, dude. I am great." So trust me, can't be any worse than that guy.
Dude, I am great. That's fantastic. Okay, well, I'm at like 1960 or something like that right now. So silver, for those of you that are unaware of what that ranking is. I'm like in the middle line of normal people in Overwatch. It doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you, because I really didn't play a lot of first-person shooter type games, really until I got into high school / college, to be honest with you.
And you have been playing primarily with people in higher brackets, like platinum and almost diamond, which is those are the top, the top 25% of people who play Overwatch. So you're playing against people who are ranked highly above your skill level. So you're not doing bad at where you're at because you're facing harder people.
And where are you at, Dylan?
I am sad about where I'm at. I am at the moment, I am at 2388. I was at 25, but then I deranked a little bit. But with all of these announcements that we got at BlizzCon and what we'll be talking about today, I'm really hoping that will change my game for the better.
I hope so, because quite frankly, I'm kind of getting tired of getting into these emotional scenes with these animations that Blizzard has put together, more specifically the Overwatch team, which kind of points us off into our transition. That's like one of the most smoothest transitions I've ever done on this show. Congratulations, everybody. We just heard one of the best transitions I've ever done, and I'm ruining it by still talking about it, but whatever. I enjoy the moment when it happens, guys. Anyway, so one of the first things I wanted to talk about was the new animation that we got about Reinhardt's past. Dylan, you're more of the Blizzard guy than myself. I'd like to get your opinion rather than mine, to be honest with you. What were your thoughts about this new animation?
As a Reinhardt main, I was really excited to hear that he was going to be getting his own animation. And being a big fan of Overwatch, I've been a big fan of all these animations they've done. It's not personally my favorites because there have been some really special, stunning animations that they've done. But I do think that this gave us more of an in-depth look into young Reinhardt, which is something that we really don't know much about. I mean, from some of the Overwatch events and the profile, we just know him as big, lovable guy with a big shield standing up for his allies.
Also, the extremely powerful.
Yes, but the animation actually showed that he was actually more of a hot-headed, kind of cocky, arrogant type of guy when he was younger, and kind of reminds me of a lot of people I see playing Reinhardt in Silver and Gold when they're just like, I don't need to use my shield. I'm gonna charge. I'm dead.
Are you making fun of me right now, Dylan?
Not just you.
I'll 1v1 you right now. I'll 1v1 you.
1v1
I don't even care if we're recording right now. I will just straight up drop everything and just play you right now.
That is some dungeon grind territory, my friend.
That's Dungeon Quest. Dungeon Quest. Dungeon grind was our past, Dylan. We are done grinding. We have to quest. We have to quest now. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
I was very happy with it. It kind of gave Reinhardt more characterization than just big friendly grandpa man. The animation, as with all the other ones, was stunning and beautiful. It was really nice to see it, and I really can't wait for the next one, which they haven't even announced yet, but it's always great when one of these animated shorts can make you just crave another one because, that keeps interest in the product. They do a fantastic job animating these shorts.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the cool things that I've always had with Blizzard's animations is that they're very crisp. They feel like a genuine, and I'll just use the term AAA production level whenever they do these animations. And whenever you watch them, they have just the sheer sign of quality when you watch them. And I think that's the part that I really enjoy personally, is that when I go into a Overwatch cutscene that goes into play. I'm going to watch a story for the next 5 to 10 or 15, whatever the timeline is, minutes, and I enjoy it. I always have fun listening to some of the stories. I mean, as weird as it sounds, I went back, I watched a couple of the other ones just because, when I see one, I go back and I watch some of the other ones to kind of be like, oh yeah, this makes sense, or oh yeah, I forgot about, so and so story. So I went back and I watched like Maze and Widowmakers, I think, and Bastions. I went and I watched, and then I watched the version of Bastions that was the Becky Let Me Smash, and I thought that was great, but that's a totally different story. But I think it's just cool to see that Blizzard has a team that is dedicated to Overwatch to really just like keep their fan base in a position where, yeah, you could really root for the sports teams. You could really, dub yourself into the Overwatch League and into the major, I'll just use the term again because I think I'm losing a term, AAA. I think you don't have to believe in that. You can just believe in just playing the character that you like. I mean, you could love May's backstory. You could be a big fan of what Reinhardt used to be. It kind of gives you a reason and a sense of motivation to really play that character. And I think that's one of the fun things that we get from Blizzard in of itself.
Well, it was confirmed at BlizzCon that the young Reinhardt that we saw in that animation, we will be getting as a Reinhardt skin. So that is really cool in and of itself. If I may ask, what is your favorite Overwatch animation? Since you said you went back and watched a few others, which one do you think had the best storytelling animation? Which one did you just like the best?
I think I've always been a fan of Soldier 76's because that's one of the I'm kind of a fan of Batman. So to have that be an underground scenario where, a little girl is just getting bullied by a bunch of thugs and then they take her little wallet, and then after that, Soldier 76 mainly coming in to just destroy the bad guys, not really going in to save the woman, the little girl. At least I don't think. To then go in and be like, okay, you guys give me that stuff back, and then just practically dominate everybody else is a really fun action, but also sense of touching scene that I really like to see out of it. I don't think I worded that properly, but I think you get what I'm saying.
That's pretty fair, yeah.
The new Reinhardt one was really touching. I think I'm a little bit against the fact that Blizzard used a cliche in narrative storytelling where they tried to just like wrap that sequence of I won't leave you, I have to stay with you in the final boss battle stand that I know that you're going to die in. And I'm kind of sad that they pulled that card, to be honest with you. But that's their choice. At the end of the day, I can't be the guy that goes, that's stupid, you shouldn't have done that. So it's not on my call.
I do think that was interesting, though, that's how they explained that Reinhardt wasn't actually supposed to be the original Overwatch member.
It was a good twist, though. I love that part. I'm just bashing that little like narrative aspect where he's like, go without me and I will fight everybody off. And granted, that's fine, but it's a cliche. They've been pushing themselves on originality. I just didn't like seeing that cliche there. However, that doesn't mean I didn't like any else that I saw. I kind of got past the point of just realizing that was kind of a cliche and just went, this was really fun to watch. Because you're right. You learn about how Reinhardt wasn't even supposed to be an Overwatch member. He was given that duty from his commanding officer, I think is what his theoretical position was above him, correct?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was really fun to see. I don't know, because now you're making me think. I really also enjoyed Maze as well because
hers was heart-wrenching.
It was just kind of like, the dramatic part was just that no one else but her woke up because the system just failed. And I was like, well, if I was on that system, life would really suck.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I stand on it. I think I'm going to go with Soldier 76, but that doesn't mean that Widowmakers was extremely dramatic and how Tracer played that into effect. Heck, Winston's was a really, really fun one to see. One of the first ones that came out. We said this before, Pixar would be in trouble if Blizzard genuinely wanted to make a film.
Yeah, they would be. I mean,
Just
they
don't
do a
make
great job with
Warcraft.
these.
That was not good. Make this
Well,
Overwatch story like what you did in the cutscenes, where you just create it to just fill backstory, have them understand what's going on, and then climax it with a battle between the good and the bad section of the Overwatch team, and just make sure you keep your freaking voice actors and just don't overthink it.
I mean, if you think about it, they're all really well done, really well animated. My personal favorite Overwatch animation, I would have to say, would be Sombra's because Sombra's was very interesting to me because it was very comedic at times. One of my
Oh yeah.
favorite moments was when they're trying to break into Volskaya Industries, and she's supposed to open the door for Reaper, and then she closes it on him,
He's like,
and
"Hey."
he's just getting really upset. But I also really like how the members of Talon kind of interact with each other. Reaper being more of a terrorist, Widowmaker being, a brainwashed soldier, Sombra being goofy and not super committed to Talon, kind of using them for her own purposes. And that also kind of brings as a good transition to the newest member of Talon.
Yeah, this one's gonna be exciting. Also weird because this one's gonna bring to us a new hero, and this new hero is gonna be called Moira. And Moira is gonna have a history with, like you said, with Blackwatch, and the essence of her is she's a support class that she can cause damage and slash discord, but then also do a lot of dramatic healing for his or her, I should rather say, um, opponents or allies. So I think it'll be really interesting to see where she fits in the meta.
Well, I have played her. I have gotten the chance to play her, and she is very different from almost every other hero. And again, that's a great thing in Overwatch when every character is different from every other character because it gives a nice sense of variety. I have this kind of feeling like she's going to be a character that is really strong, works really well, but people are not going to play the way they should play her. So it's going to be very interesting to see how she works out, especially in competitive play with all the different tiers of play from the grandmasters and masters that we know to even the silver and gold like what we play in.
Is it
But
true that she distributes a very large amount of healing? I don't know if that, because someone, and I think
she,
it was maybe just in the actual presentation, I thought that Jeff had said something about that Moira's playstyle is that when she heals someone, it's going to be dramatic. Well, not dramatic is the word that he used, but it's just going to be a very big increase. You're just going to heal the person like almost instantly with how much that you're able to do, but it's
well,
not as effective to just like heal everybody.
well, she does heal more than Mercy, more than Lucio. She her healing is about on par with Anna's,
All right.
a- and but the thing is, she cannot do what Mercy or Lucio do, where they just heal nonstop. She has a meter that has it's kind of like a Diva defense matrix meter.
Sure.
Like how when you use defense matrix, it goes down. And in order for her to get that back, she either has to wait 45 seconds for it to fully charge up, which is forever in Overwatch, or when she deals damage with her right click, you as Moira get healed, and your meter for healing, like what you can, how you can heal other people, also increases. So you have to do damage to heal your allies, which is a very interesting concept and means that she's not going to be able to sit entirely on the back line. She's going to have to move to the front lines to kind of suck some health from a Genji or suck some health from a Tracer or something. So she's really going to have an interesting play style.
So
And
what's her ultimate do?
her ultimate is a very long-ranged beam that she shoots out, and any allies that get in the way get healed a lot, and any enemies that get in the way of it are going to get hurt decently. And it travels in one big, like, I think it goes 100 or 200 meters. and it goes through your allies. Through like it's just one big line. If you get stuck in it, you're either getting healed or taking damage.
So think about
And
it
it
like
lasts.
Hanzo's Dragon Ultimate, but as a beam, and it helps your allies and hurts your enemies.
Exactly, and it does have a. It's only like 6 or 7 seconds because it would be a little too overpowered if you could hold that for a lot longer. But it feels like it's going to be something that's really nice to clear space, really nice to heal your team if they really need it in the middle of a team fight.
You could
And
really
also,
capitalize on choke points.
exactly, I see it as a really nice use. Also, if your team doesn't have a good hit scan,
Sure.
I also see it as a good use to get rid of Widowmakers that are giving you problems, Hanzos that are giving you problems, or even Pharaohs that are just flying around up in the air. Because you'll also deal a good enough amount of damage that you can take out a Mercy or a Farah flying in the air if you just move around a little bit.
Yeah, makes sense. It seems cool. I'm excited to see what Moira is going to bring to the table. It's always cool to see a new hero come in and see how they can really alter the meta that it's currently in for competitive.
The best part about her, though, if I may say, is she has two legendary skins that are inspired by rock and roll. She has a David Bowie Ziggy Stardust legendary skin, which I think is just awesome, and it's easily the best skin. And then she has a kind of Knight Rider type one, which is also just really, really cool.
That's pretty grand. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll check it out in PTR coming soon here for sure.
Or you might be able to find it on the live servers because it is rumored that either for the upcoming free to play weekend that she will be available by then. So keep your eyes out. She might be around sooner rather than later.
Well, next thing we got on our BlizzCon agenda was Jeff Kaplan, first of all, throwing out all the jokes he could put together. I wish I had a compilation that I could play for us because I do hear some of the great jokes he put in.
Yeah,
it was really grand. He's like, what was the one that he bashed on? Well, he talked about the previous gameplay footage, and he showed a lot of the original test Overwatch builds, and when they were initially in, and one of their like original models was for a tracer, and he was like, yeah, we had one game where it was just all tracers playing against each other, and all the tracer mains are really happy to hear that, but we weren't happy to hear that part. Yeah. There was another part, gosh, what was the other thing? He bashed people for not getting on the payload, but I don't remember what it was about. I'll have to go.
Oh yeah.
Go on YouTube and look up Jeff Kaplan highlights BlizzCon 2017, and you'll find what I'm talking about. This guy was this is funny. Kaplan has just this sense of humor that's just always really funny to listen to.
And it's very straight-laced. It's very calm. It's a very...
He's not mean about things. He just kind of like pokes fun at a few random little things, and he's not toxic to people. He just kind of like pokes fun at it every once in a while. He's like, "Oh, you mercy mains" or something like that. And he doesn't make it in a way that it sounds like you're negative though. It's really weird, but also constructive and funny, which is like, how do you do this? Because I want to learn about that.
I mean, I think the first question he was asked was, "Is Moira OP?" And he said yes.
Oh,
just, like,
yeah.
Straight out yes.
Oh, when they were talking about Moira, he's like, and in case you're wondering how to spell Moira, it's OPAF. And I was like, are you kidding me, Jeff?
Yeah.
Come on. That Moira doesn't clearly sound like OPAF. Duh. Yes, I get the joke. I was making a joke as well. But anyway, the next thing we had was BlizzCon had a new map that they're going to put together for Overwatch called Blizzard World. That's going to be interesting. With that, it's going to be kind of like a Disneyland for Blizzard World, where it's going to be a theme park that incorporates a lot of their IPs, like Heroes of the Storm and StarCraft are going to be in this scenario. And of course, players will both attack and protect the payload in the map. The payload in the map. My goodness, English is a hard thing for me to say. And it's kind of cool because this whole map's going to have nothing but different Easter eggs that you can look at. So, anything from any little games that you play, just basically think Blizzard, and it will likely be in this theme park.
Yeah, I didn't get to. This is not on the PTR yet. I haven't been able to play this, but from what I did see from BlizzCon, it seems like it's very much of a mix of like, in terms of map composition, similar to Eichenwald, yet a little bit more open. So kind of if you fused Eichenwald, Junkertown, and maybe King's Row together,
Okay.
and that's what it feels like this is. And I love those maps, so I think this is going to be a fantastic map to finally play, and hopefully will not, come off as gimmicky like some people complain that Junkertown was. So I'm excited for it.
Then the last thing we got is World. Hey, Dylan, you remember that thing called English? I think I'm struggling with it. World of Warcraft gets a major update. And finally, with that update, it's going to be the vanilla server. That one's going to be an interesting one. I don't know. Were you much of a WoW guy? I feel bad because this is a really big thing for WoW players. I understand that. But I just kind of went, okay, that's cool. Because I just didn't really play WoW as much.
WoW was I played WoW a little bit because my sophomore year in high school, I was in marching band, and our marching show was music from World of Warcraft. So I decided to play the game so I could kind of, get a feel for it. And I had a lot of fun. It's just I didn't have a lot of time to put into it. And of course, games like World of Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm, these games do require a good amount of time and effort to put in, which I just didn't have. But
people make full-time jobs of these games even without streaming.
I know, it's crazy. But I'm interested in this because I feel like it would have been easier for me to get into if this regular kind of default or vanilla server would have existed then. Because I will admit I was kind of overwhelmed by just everything when I first got into it.
Yeah, I never really touched on it. Computer specs weren't really up to par with it. I think I kind of was in that position back in the day where I was a jockey kid, so I didn't really, think that playing World of Warcraft was really on my top list of things to do. Whereas now I make a video game podcast. I should tell my sophomore year self to go back in time and be like, you're going to be a nerd in the future. And he'd be like, no. But yeah, I think it's going to be cool. In this expansion, it's going to include the usual increased level caps and new zones for players to explore. It's going to mainly focus on the conflict between the two major factions, the Alliance and the Horde. Horde players will travel to 3 new zones that make up the islands of Zandalar. Alliance players will be focused on 3 different zones set in the island nation of Cool Tyrus. The update marks the introduction of new content that has never been seen before in game. So again, bringing new content, but at the same time also implementing some new ideals. That's going to be pretty cool to see.
And as it relates to WoW, another thing that they did announce at BlizzCon is that for Overwatch, along with Blizzard World, we will be getting 8 new legendary skins for Doomfist, Orisa, Torbjorn, and many others that are actually inspired from or are characters from other Blizzard games, including the Horde leader from World of Warcraft, who's a dwarf, is going to be, Torbjorn's going to have a skin of him. Doomfist is going to have this really cool StarCraft 2 skin. There are 8 of these that'll be allowed, or that'll be put out for free when Blizzard World drops. And that's also huge for big Blizzard fans who are avid players of Overwatch.
So yeah, that's pretty much what BlizzCon was. Nothing really else was too mind-blowing to say that we really haven't touched on before, unless there's something else that I missed.
I did have one thing, and I want to ask your opinion on this, because I watched BlizzCon last year, and I watched it this year. Last year, I was watching it, and suddenly, Weird Al Yankovic came out and did a hour and a half to 2 hour long concert. The musical guest for this year was Muse, who actually I have a friend that was on my radio show back home who actually performed with them after winning a competition. And he said they were very nice people. Do you think these are really necessary for gaming conventions, though?
It's an extra little piece, let's be honest. It's helpful to have a little bit extra to this convention that attracts people in. It gives them something to be excited about. You're not just going in to learn about news. You have some time to go relax, hang out, watch a concert, do some fun stuff like that. So if you got it in the budget to put something in like that, they do that so that people have some entertainment purpose to be there. They're not just there to, be like, oh, whoa, look at all these new things. They're so cool. I mean, so many people have done this before, where they'll add in a little extra piece to it to really give someone some extra little piece of memory to go to their convention. For some people, it might even just to be an extra excuse to buy a ticket to go there. So I don't think it's a bad purpose to do that. It helps.
Yeah, I understand that. It was just kind of odd, especially when last year it was Weird Al, and this year it was Muse. So
they took a risk with Weird Al, and it was kind of worth it. I don't know if I'd say it was totally worth it, but it was okay.
I mean, I'd be happy to see Weird Al pop up at BlizzCon. I mean, that's a pleasant surprise for me. But
I mean, DreamHack, I remembered, had Waka Flocka on as their entertainment for the evening. So, you know, who they bring together sometimes can be dependent on the venue guy and who really wants to put this together, but that's up to them.
How do you decide, with how varied and different gamers are, how do you determine who you want to play at these gaming conventions? Like, how did they decide at DreamHack for Waka Flocka? How did they decide at BlizzCon for Muse? Like, what do you think would go into that?
Like I said, I think it goes down to the venue coordinator that's going to put that together and be like, I think I have a connection to X artist. Let's give them a call and see if they'll be interested. And that just blossoms into this sequence where they're going to be like, okay, we could probably do that. So I'm not too against it. You know, it's happened before. So I wouldn't be too surprised about it.
It is just pretty interesting, though.
Yeah, for sure. But it doesn't really matter. It's up to them. I wasn't there. I didn't get a chance to really watch that performance. I don't even know if they streamed that, to be honest with you. I didn't get a chance to watch that part, unfortunately.
They only streamed that for people who actually bought the virtual passes, so it makes sense.
That's lame. Excuse me. Okay, next game we got.
Yeah, I want my free musical performance, darn it.
I want to record it and put it on YouTube. No copyright, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, next game I got coming up on here on this list was there's a new rumor that a new Hitman game is currently in development right now, which is interesting, to say the least. Mainly because it's just a rumor right now.
Well, have you ever been a really big fan of the Hitman games, or like, what are your memories of the Hitman games?
I've never played them, but I've had the understanding concept of them, and I've watched through a lot of playthroughs to really kind of understand what exactly Hitman was about. And it's really fun if you get the right people to play it. Like, if you're skilled at this game, you know, you can go out and make some of the most skillful silent killers that you can come out with. So I think that's the fun part about this game. Is it my personal favorite? No. But I know that this game has definitely had its reign in the AAA realm.
They are pretty fun games, and I'm interested to see what we will learn about this upcoming game. But we really won't learn much about it until some point in 2018. So keep an eye on that. That'll be a good thing to be excited for in the upcoming year.
Yeah, for sure. The next one I got here is that Pokemon Go. How many people play this that are currently recording this episode? Please raise your hand. That's what I thought. They have
all two of you.
They have, yeah, exactly. They have got new bosses coming up. Over the past year, there's been a lot of big updates, but one of the most notable changes was the introduction of raid battles. If you don't remember that was a couple months ago. They brought that together where you can battle with your friends on a specific boss and try to defeat them in order to win a pretty cool prize at the end of it. They didn't really change. They didn't advertise this change in advance of its implementation. I mean, it was there in the beginning of the campaign for Pokemon Go, but yeah, it didn't exist during that time, so people kind of forgot about it. But anyway, the changes they made to this were that people would have a full hour to complete a raid after the boss Pokemon had hatched. The raid battle will last actually now for 45 minutes. And new Pokemon's going to be Metapod for Tier 1, and Ivysaur, Charmeleon, and Wartortle are going to be the Gen 2 starter evolutions for bosses. Porygon is going to be Tier 3. Golem, Victory Bell, Poliwrath, Nidoking, and Nidoqueen are going to be on your Tier 4 list of things. So, safe to say, I mean, it's fun. I'm sure it's probably a lot of fun to play again, but They just, I don't know, man. How come you never got back into Pokemon Go?
I never had a phone that really consistently ran it fine until this year, and of course, this year is when it hasn't been like I remember when it first came out. You, myself, and a few of our buddies would go riding around our local town and just stopping, parking here, trying to get Pokemon. My phone never could really handle it because I had an older phone at the time, so I didn't get too much into it. Still wasn't too much into it. And while I do love the Pokemon games, it's been a while since I've really had like the dedication or focus to really get into anything Pokemon as of late. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you, except for the fact that I had a decent phone at the time. I played it for a bit. I really enjoyed it. And then I just kind of was getting really tired of a lot of the consistent issues that I was having. Game consistently crashing, getting rid of the
Yeah,
HUD to show what's kind of nearby you. The raid wasn't in during the time that I was there, and I I didn't go around as many places as I wanted to. So for me to travel downtown and go, cool, some Pokestops, grab some Pokeballs, call it good, come back, not really do anything. Go to school, same school we went to, Dylan, fight some gym bosses. Just it didn't excite me enough to keep going, I think was my end conclusion. I will tell you when it started that it was a lot of fun. I genuinely enjoyed it because I just remember being like, I'm willing to sacrifice gas money so that you, me, and Austin could just go and drive around and be like, okay, cool. I now just picked up 75 Pokeballs. Thanks for picking them up, Dylan. Oh, you caught a Squirtle for me? Whoa, cool.
I
Thanks.
mean, I also enjoyed the first week of it because I went into my hometown, Little Three Oaks, and I walked around for like 2 hours, and you'd be amazed how many people I saw walking around with their phones, and I was wondering, wait, why are these people walking around? And they're in my little town of Three Oaks, which I swear has a population of maybe 100, maybe 200 max. I saw at least 50, 60, 70 people just walking around playing Pokemon Go, and that was crazy. Like all different ages, all different walks of life, and they were just playing this game, just walking around and playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's how
It
I
was
felt,
really kind
man.
of amazing.
That's how I felt. Like I thought it was a great memory to have that like me and Austin would like get up and start walking around our neighborhood. Like something we haven't done since we were like in 7th grade or 6th grade. Heck, maybe high school, but more likely just kind of like in that middle school to elementary school range. We just kind of like went out, we walked around, we're like, oh snap, there's this thing here. Let's go check it out. It was a cool nostalgic memory to walk back down on and then go downtown to our area and just to see like what it was like when everyone else was walking around. And you could tell who was a Pokemon Go hunter and who was going down to the beach to go tanning. It was genuinely funny, and it was also a pleasure to see a community develop during that time. But it's still a little sad. I was sad that the game kind of died out and didn't have as much fun for me. Mainly because I think that with all the controversy that happened, people getting run over because they weren't paying attention, or the really suspicious things, the what I'll call the white van issues, just some little things like that. I wish they didn't happen. I wish that there was disclaimers that were put out ahead of time from Pokemon Go, safe practices. But at the same time, though, I don't think Niantic would have expected to have a majority of the world really have this application on their phone at this time.
Yeah,
And you got to imagine running the cellular work on that. It's got to be, oh, that's got to be a lot to deal with. I mean, we're seeing the overwhelming success of PUBG right now and how they're struggling to roll with their life because it's growing faster than they anticipated. So it's really just the same story in Pokemon Go.
it really is. And I mean, hey, is anyone really ready to kind of go through what these companies went through? I don't like these things caught on just almost out of nowhere. And it's really kind of I'm really impressed that both companies, and especially with Pokemon Go, that they've been able to keep at it, even though they were blown away by all the success.
Yeah, I agree. And at the end of the day, now even just talking about this nostalgic trip, maybe I will turn it back on because Fun fact, my instructor, I won't mention names, he does also play Pokemon Go. In fact, I find it kind of funny because I think he has 2 iPhones and both of them play Pokemon Go. I think I've seen both of them on with that before, which makes me go, why do you need 2? But anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, Pokemon Go, new bosses, new raids, some updates coming out. Make sure to check it out, guys, if you guys are Pokemon Go fans. Maybe install it. You know what? I challenge you guys. Reinstall the game if you got it deleted already. Try it out. See if you have some fun. Go out and do some fun activities. Go out and run. You need it just as much as I do. So let's just go and catch some Pokemon. You too, Dylan.
Dang. I didn't want to have to go exercise, darn it. I'm already doing weight lifts.
I've been doing weightlifting. Anyway, so, all right. I think we're on to one of our final things today, which is going to be talking about this neural network that learned how to play Super Mario Kart. First of all, I encourage all of you to go check out on YouTube and just kind of Google that term, neural network learns to play Super Mario Kart, because this video was really fun to watch, actually. It was cool because no one had ever seen this system ever work like this before. And once it actually started learning, everyone was like, no way, it actually turned properly. Oh my goodness. Or when it started adapting to certain map environments and learning how these function. It was so fun to watch. I don't know why. I don't know why, for some reason, it's so entertaining for me to see such a simplistic machine, allegedly, just go on and be like, I could play Super Mario Kart.
I can play Super Mario Kart.
Don't start playing the same voice tone that you had in my highlight compilation that I made. Holy cow, that video was grand. We gotta watch that again.
Link below or wherever. But anyway,
you'll find it on my YouTube channel. I just did a major purge on that, but that's not what I'm talking about. The neural network learns to play Super Mario Kart. So let's give you some information, shall we? Seth Bling is the name of this guy who created it. He's a programmer who's just kind of one of the same guys like us, where he's just a nerd that wants to just play around with things, have some fun. He trained a neural network to play Mario Kart and to win gold trophies after watching about 15 hours worth of gameplay. They call it the Mari Flow system, which is what Bling will call the network. It watched footage and tries to copy the player behavior it observes. In his case, he tried to get the system to match the way his father had played Mario Kart. The video explains that the program essentially tries to predict the buttons the player would press and then employ those same exact systems. So learning from watching is really what this program is built to do. Update right now, this program has won gold in the Mushroom Cup, silver in the Flower Cup. Despite that, it's probably safe to say that it's not going to be some cheating AI bot for speedrunners coming up.
It's the least cheating AI we've seen in a Mario Kart game in a long time.
So it learned how to play as good as Dylan's regular play in Mario Kart. That's all I can say.
Hey, my regular play in Mario Kart is bad, so don't say that. I think this thing has better skill than that.
Sure. I'll let that slide. Confirmed, Dylan's not that good. Anyway.
Hey, I can beat Rainbow Road in 3 hours.
Can you, though? 3 hours? It's too long, man. It's too long.
Shut up.
I had some records. I remember in Super Mario Wii when I had I had a North American record someplace. I think it was on Luigi's Circuit. I think I was like 75th fastest in the world for Luigi's Circuit at one time.
Dang.
That was not counting those stupid cheaters that could glitch through the entire map and get through to the third lap. God, that was bogus. The reason I know that is because I remember facing off against this one bot who went and glitched through a wall and beat me by like a minute. And I was like, that's not right. So then I look back at the footage and sure enough, that's what had happened. He's just one of those bots that he's like, ha, durka-dur, I can do better than you because I know how to glitch through the wall. But I learned how to use my mushrooms the proper way. And I learned how to manually drift on that map. It was a fun time.
Use your mushroom in the correct way. That sounds interesting out of
Dylan,
context.
it didn't have a sexual context until you said that to me. I'm mad at you now. Well, thanks, Dylan. Now I interpret the mushroom in a totally different fashion. Thanks.
You are welcome. And thank you to all of you for tuning in for us this week. We love always having a great, interested audience here on Level Up Weekly. Jordan, do you have anything else you want to say?
I just want to reiterate that Patreon thing earlier because you want cool new content. I know you do, because we've been told that we're one of the most highly watched shows here on this Thursday night. So if you're not around to listen to us for this show, well, it's available on Podbean. You know, we always upload our episodes on that Thursday anyway. But
And iTunes.
And also, well, actually not SoundCloud right now, but we'll be putting them up on Twitch soon. But anyway, but you want to throw it down on Patreon. You got $5 a month. Boom. You just got exclusive content for our episodes. We're going to be throwing out a bunch for you guys here soon. We got some fun things we want to talk about. We're going to be discussing some things that maybe have some different controversy, some off the radio topic type of things. You know, maybe we'll get to learn about me and Dylan more. Maybe we'll have challenges out for you guys. Maybe we'll pull you in for an interactive discussion on a specific Discord night. So there's a lot of things that could potentially happen, and we really hope that you guys will be part of that flow and be able to support our show in that same aspect to it. Because we got to be real, guys. Me and Dylan are college kids, and to financially support our domain and to financially support rolling around on the radio is going to be an important impact in doing this show. So thank you, though, for everybody that does just watch. It's genuinely fun to do. It's always a pleasure, Dylan, to be in your company talking about video games and all that. So, yeah, I think that's really what I got to say. Is there anything you want to add on to what I said?
Again, just like to thank everyone for listening. Thanks to everyone who supported us throughout the year. Since we are actually coming up to Thanksgiving and Christmas. Soon it'll be 2018, and we'll have even more content for you in these next few weeks, in these next few months, and then rolling into the new year. We'd like to thank you so much for listening to us. Also supporting us through our Level Up FTK team, which was a few months ago. And overall, thanks for your participation in our podcast.
I do want to mention that Level Up FTK is going to have some extra cool things coming up in 2018. So stay tuned when 2018's hitting around. That's going to be a fun episode in the future for sure. But anyway, we're going to wrap up here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Sphyrnidae. And joining alongside with me is Dylan. And join us. Thank you, the dude. and we'll see you guys next week. Join us next week for your next level experience.